The hard part is landing focus when all you have to rely on in video mode is manual focus. So hopefully I'm in focus. I think so. Welcome to the end. So some really sad news, and this is my last Hostess cupcake before I have to go hunt down another box, which probably will be a while because they're more of a treat than anything. But that's not why we're here today. Today, I want to share with you a few shots and some of the stuff that I gathered from this new piece of equipment that I got, which is this stabilizer. When I am working on a production, I oftentimes try and rent gear and have it shipped to the location I'm traveling to, if it's any specialty gear, so that I'm not lugging it around on an airplane or in a car and it's just there and it's less stuff for me to travel with. So it's a tip that I learned from a photographer friend of mine, link in the description because he's great, and him and his wife shot my wife and my wedding, and it was great. This is what I'm talking about today. It's a stabilizer, and I rented one, I think it was the HD 2000 glide cam or something like that, from Lens Rental. It's not an expensive rental. For like a week, it's maybe $60 for an entire week. That includes shipping and all of that, and not horrible for an entire week of use. The cost of it's like $300-400. It's an old model. You get the new ones are closer to like $800 or $500 something. I'm not sure of the prices, but I went on to Amazon and I figured, I wonder, for $60 to rent something that I might use again, what would it cost to buy it? I found this guy. It's metal. It feels pretty solid. It does its thing. It stabilizes the same thing as the other one does, and it cost me the same amount as a 1 week rental. The one I got, I've linked it in the description below in case you're interested, is the Neewer Stabilizer Steady. It's not a glide cam because glide cam's a brand. It's not fly cam because that's something else, but it's a Neewer stabilizer, handheld stabilizer for your camera. I don't have my camera on it now because I'm recording this video with it. I'll maybe throw something on it later, but that's what this thing is. And it actually works really good. It's made of a pretty solid metal, so that's a bonus. It feels very similar to the glide cam that I rented. And this is the best part. The glide cam that I rented had like 4 or 5 screws, and you had to pull off a plate and get your camera mounted on there, and then you had to twist these different individual dials so that you could get it all balanced. This here, it has only 2 balancing elements on the head here. So there's this little bit here that you pull off, and it slides the plate back and forth for balancing left and right, and then it's an actual tripod plate. So you pull it off and slide it in. 1 screw to mount it to the bottom of your camera. It slips in, tightens, and then you can move it back and forth by hand. There's so few less screws just to get your dialed in settings, which is nice. Maybe not quite as accurate, but hey, if you're going fast and you need to pop your camera on and off, great option, and only like 60 something bucks. Seriously, this so far has been a very good purchase. You've got 3 different weights down here, and it also extends for maybe a heavier camera that needs a little bit more balancing options in there. The hardest part about using these is getting used to it. And if you only have it for 1 week and you don't use it very often, you're probably not going to perfect the look of using a stabilizer such as this, a handheld stabilizer like this. If you instead take that 60 bucks and put it to something cheaper like this, you can be practicing all day. You don't even have to record. Just mount your camera on it, find a point, and practice walking back and forth, turning it on. The hardest part I have is as I'm walking, it stays pretty stable going up and down, but it's the swaying back and forth that I'm working on. So one thing that I have been doing is, since Devin Supertramp is so experienced with these things, I'm just watching his videos on how he goes about doing it and balancing it. And they also send you a little instructional thing. This is one of the new pieces of equipment. I've got more that I'm using. I'm going to use it some more on a trip that I'm going up to San Francisco area. You can get one. I've got an affiliate link below. They're great so far. I'm loving it. There's a little opening here, and I even mount it. I mount it on a light stand sometimes, and so you get sort of any sort of light stand. This goes right on top, and you can literally, you can balance this thing without ever having to touch it, and all of that fun stuff. So here is some footage for you, just like around the office playing with it. Hopefully this was helpful. If you haven't already, why not subscribe? Hit that bell notification so you can be updated every time I post new content to this channel. More is coming next week as we've wrapped up all of this stuff. So with that, I will see you next week. More videos coming at you. And if you haven't noticed or don't know anything about American baseball, go A's. I will see you in the next video.